Hi guys, in today's video we are going to be taking a look at some leaked gameplay of a new legendary upgrade for Acorn and Oak potentially coming to Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville. All of the footage in this video that includes the legendary upgrade was obtained by NM Gaming, so please go and check out their channel if you haven't already. Also please keep in mind that as this is leaked content, everything you see in this video is subject to change and may not reflect the final product. As usual, just before we begin, remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons if you enjoy the content on this channel and want to help it grow. Anyway, let's get started. Right then, now this legendary upgrade currently doesn't have a name, but we do have the file names of the individual weapons, so let's start off with Acorn. At the moment this upgrade is just called Alternative Weapon and acts very similar to Acorn's current weapon, but it has some additional effects. The weapon will now do less damage, but it has a damage over time effect like with Snapdragon's flamethrower. What's also interesting is that the weapon damage numbers actually stack with this upgrade, unlike other weapons. In terms of stats, this weapon has 45 shots in the clip, or 56 if you're using the Little Friend upgrade, and does 2.33 points of damage, but it will show us 3 when shooting an enemy, resulting in about 20 damage per second and a reload time of 1.3 seconds. The weapon also has a lot more gravity applied to it, so the projectile drop is more noticeable. I think what I like the most about this weapon is that you can fire your shots pretty high into the air and use it as some type of artillery strike. However, I think considering how much ammo this weapon has, it might be a bit overpowered. You could literally have one Acorn hiding near an objective, just constantly shooting into the air and potentially doing tons of damage. So I think the one thing I would say is it probably needs less ammo, but at the same time it only does 2.3 damage per shot, so maybe it will be balanced. But what I would like to see perhaps is some fire or poison effects on the weapon depending on which direction they go, because at the moment it looks very similar to the default weapon. Now let's take a look at Oak. So Oak's primary weapon has been changed from its 1 shot to a 6 round burst weapon that has no spread and a 1 second cooldown between each shot. The weapon does 18 damage per bullet and also does 8 points of blast damage as well as 5 points of shockwave damage. From the footage we have here, the weapon looks insanely powerful. I know NM is fighting bots here, but you are able to one-shot a 80s action hero with this. So yeah, it definitely needs balancing in my opinion. I think one of my favourite things about Oak's new weapon is the sound effect. It sounds like this massive minigun. I also like the fact that the animation pushes Oak back a little. It reminds me of this clip from Pirates of the Caribbean. Now you might think that's it for Oak, however there have actually been 2 more alternative weapons found for Oak, so these perhaps could be other versions that are being tested, or all 3 weapons may have something to do with the legendary upgrade and they just haven't been linked together. So the second primary weapon is called Burst Shape, which is an internal name, and this works very much like the last one, but instead of firing 6 shots you fire 10 and the projectiles create this nice little pattern in the air. The weapon again is very similar to the last in terms of damage and probably needs toning down. The third primary is called Shotgun, which again is related to the previous one I showed, but instead of a burst shot we have a number of projectiles being fired at the same time. The shape is pretty identical to the previous, but it also has more of an arc. Out of all of these weapons, I think this is probably my least favourite, as it is very similar to Oak's original, especially in close combat, but at longer ranges I enjoy that it works kind of like an artillery strike. So I mean, overall this isn't particularly the most inventive or interesting legendary upgrade we've seen. It really just seems to change the fire mode for Oak and adds a damage over time for Acorn. I think perhaps because this legendary upgrade is still in development, in the finished version I hope there's some sort of elemental effect on the weapon, and of course hopefully an awesome costume to accompany the upgrade. I'm also interested to find out which weapon they choose, or whether it ends up being a combination of them all. Currently we don't know when this is going to be released, but hopefully sometime in the near future. Anyway guys, that's about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of this upgrade in the comments below, but other than that remember to subscribe and I shall see you in the next one. Okay, thanks guys, bye.